Hosts Ghana have won the 2017 West African Football Union Cup of Nations. The Black Stars this evening defeated the Super Eagles of Nigeria 4-1 in the final at the Cape Coast Stadium. A brace from Stephen Safo, a penalty from Vincent Atiga, and an injury time strike from Winful Kobina saw the Black Stars defend their 2013 title. Nigeria did find some consolation following a 22-yard free kick from Rabiu Ali in the 88th minute. Well, number 2, Roger Federer, has handed Team Europe the maiden Laver Cup title after beating Team World's Nick Kyrgios in a super tie-break thriller in Prague, Czech Republic. Europe led by 9 points to 12, coming into the final of the 12 matches over the course of the 3-day event. Federer won the tie 4-6, 7-6, 11-9 to give Team Europe an unbeatable 15-9 win. But the 36-year-old Swiss legend struggled against the 20th-ranked 22-year-old Australian and his flawless serve, losing the first set on a single break.
Game of first set, Europe.
Away from sports is now, Angela Merkel has won a 4th term in Germany's federal elections. Her party, the conservative CDU-CSU alliance, gained 33% of seats in parliament, but not enough to form a government. The election had a few surprises, with the right-wing AfD Nationalist Party winning about 12.8%.
It had been a tough race, but with one certainty, that Angela Merkel would continue as Chancellor in Germany. Getting up to the podium to address supporters, she pumped up energy in the room by saying the CDU-CSU was the strongest party with a mandate to form a government, and there can be no government formation against them. She, however, pointed out the party faced a huge test of winning back the voters of the AfD by solving problems and listening to the worries and sometimes fears, but above all, through good politics. The AfD had stunned the establishment by finishing 3rd in the election and entering the Bundestag for the first time with 13.5% of the vote. The party's deputy head and European Parliament member, Beatrix von Storch, called the vote result a revolution and vowed to continue its anti-immigration and anti-Islam rhetoric. The party's entry into parliament heralds the beginning of a new era in German politics that will see more robust debate and a departure from the steady, consensus-based approach that has marked the post-war period. The Free Democrats Party celebrated its return to parliament, saying it has been a tough election campaign and tough 4 years. Meanwhile, Martin Schulz of the Social Democratic Party told supporters in Berlin election day was a bitter day for his party. Support for the centre-left slumped to 20%, a new post-war low. Meanwhile,
Our correspondent Yemi Sikpaye is in Berlin, where she joins us from. Yemi, great to see you. Angela Merkel faces the tough task of forming a coalition government, and the AfD has said it has no plans of joining the CDU-CSU. What are her other options at this point?
Well, first of all, let me just say, as I'm coming from Berlin in conjunction with Deutsche Welle, this issue on the AfD is actually mutual. Angela Merkel has said that she's not interested in actually having a coalition with the AfD. And what we're going to see here is a bit of a different dynamic. The SPD have already said that they're not interested in continuing the grand coalition, which is when you have the 2 major parties in coalition and then you have an opposition. What they're interested in doing is trying to push out the far right, because you've seen this shock result where the AfD, the Alternative for Deutschland party, the far-right nationalist populist parties you've described, has actually taken a huge support and become the third largest party. So what the SPD is looking to do is to be the major party in opposition. And so for the CDU, CSU, the centre-right party of Angela Merkel, their options really are to be looking at parties like the Green Party, the environmentalists, and the Free Democratic Party, the Liberals, and even perhaps Die Linke, the lefts. So what you're actually looking at here is a different dynamic where it's a strategic debate to ensuring that, okay, you've got the centre-right CDU, CSU on one side with whoever they decide to partner up with, but you're trying to ensure that the far-right doesn't get its way, because if they were in power as the main opposition party, then they would automatically have their say in Parliament whenever there's a debate. They would come second after the government.
Well, even before the elections, Yemisi, it was quite clear that Angela Merkel would possibly win the election. So I guess it's, at this point we ask whether Germany's foreign policy towards Africa ever came up during her campaigns, or if it even came up today, perhaps, in any discussions.
Yes. No, it did come up through the campaign. And in fact, during the middle of the year, she sketched out a G20 plan for Africa, compact with Africa, where she was talking more about moving away from development aid to actually opportunities with Africa. So I think that's something you're going to see more of now going into her fourth term, where it's more a move towards collaborating, opportunities, partnerships with Africa, as they see Africa as an important player in the world.
Yemisi Faye, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for your reporting in Berlin.
Thank you so much, Amarachi, here from Berlin in conjunction with Deutsche Welle and Channels Television.
And the main news again, the federal government today announced plans to begin the trial of Boko Haram suspects held in prisons across the country on October 9th. In a statement by the Federal Minister of Justice, the government says poor investigation and logistical problems had been responsible for the delay in prosecuting the suspects. That is the news at 10 tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Good night.